Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
In the late 1940s, owing to a booming post-World War II economy and the influx of sporting automobiles, road racing was gaining popularity. And with the Sports Car Club of America as the main organizer of these races, in 1950, their Chicago region and the village of Elkhart Lake organized their first road race over 3.3 miles of public roads, a route that is included in the National Register of Historic Places to this day. But just 2 short years later and half a country away, with the death of a small boy watching races on the streets of Watkins Glen, the races on the roads of the Kettle Moraine were no more. And much like in upstate New York, a new era of road racing on private circuits would begin on September 10th, 1955. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and welcome to the season 12 finale of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge here on Apex Racing TV, where the best virtual GTP, LMP2, and GT3 racers in the world do battle. Joining me in the announce booth, as always, is Larry Lefty McLeod, with Jonathan Grabowski working extra hard tonight behind the scenes to give you all the best views of tonight's 75-minute blast through the park that Cliff Tufty built, the National Park of Speed, Road America. Good evening, Larry. How are you doing this evening?
I'm probably doing better than our director, John, but I'm doing all right. Excited to be here. Season finale, Road America. Obviously, it's a championship to be decided at Road America. You and I have been here before in real life and in the sim, and I love doing it again. This is going to be exciting. I love this. We got a nice big field here tonight. We got the graphics working with all 4 classes actually shown on screen. The paints look like they're working. Everything's working great. What could possibly go wrong?
No, nothing at all, Larry. Nothing could ever go wrong. But we're going to try to burn things to the ground right now. All right, so we're towards the end of qualifying right now, and that was a hard hit. As we're winding things down, of course, we've got our LMP2, our GTP, and our GT3 racers. We're watching right now Mike Dam, who's currently qualified 4th in the GT3 in the Pro class, and we'll be showing you on screen both our GT3 Pro and GT3 AM racers this week. You'll be able to pick out the differences between them, because they'll have the Pro racers will have the Ricmotech red numbers and accoutrement on their car, including mirrors, and the GT3 AM drivers will have, much like Jimbo Pfeiffer, who we're watching right now, who's our second fastest AM driver as he wraps up his final lap of qualifying. They'll have the green number boards. Or we could switch over to Dan Carrillo, who is our championship leader in GT3 AM, and they've got the green number boards, mirrors, and windshield banners. Real quick, Larry, we might have a couple of seconds here as qualifying is winding down. We do have a special guest who is waiting to speak with us. That is Filippo Barberi, driver of the number 186 Speed Lab McLaren, currently running 2nd in the GT3 AM Championship. Let's bring him on in.
All right, joining us right here is Filippo Barberi, and I tell you what, here we are, championship round, ready for all this, and look at the point standings. You're sitting in 2nd spot. Are you closely watching Dan Carrillo's night tonight, or what's your...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like it would be very tough to overtake him. I mean, obviously that would be nice, and we had a really good battle since the beginning. I think pretty much out of all the races, I only had one race where we weren't kind of neck and neck. So it would be hard. I mean, obviously, do I want to try for it? Yes. But I always have to watch for Lucas as well, because he's not that far behind. So as much as I want to go on the attack, I think it would be more of a night, let's play it safe and bring it home, because my family, my team, and everybody's put a lot of time, myself put a lot of time into this. I don't want to throw it away doing anything, would be like ineffective, basically.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're kind of cut short on time here. Apologize for getting in here a little late. We had some issues getting started.
No, it's okay.
You mentioned you got friends and family watching. You want to quickly say hi to them? And
listen, let's say hi to all my kids, Alessandra, Isabella, Layla, Gabriella, and Enzo. To my lovely wife, Elena, you're amazing, baby. Thank you for putting up with the craziness and all this. And thanks for everybody that helps put the series on, and all of our sponsors and the team. Thank you guys so much. Actually, I have to go grid up now.
Yep.
Thank you.
Right.
Yep.
Good luck tonight in this championship fight, and have a good race.
You too. Thank you.
All right, everybody, that was Filippo Barberi from Speed Lab, driver of the 186 McLaren. Didn't give him a lot of time tonight.
For Speed Lab.
That's right. And of course, he is looking. I don't want to say it's a, you know, that it's been decided, but it's pretty close. It's going to be very tough for Filippo to move up and take away the GT3 AM championship away from Dan Carrillo. But Larry, real quick, let's run down the starting order here. Starting on pole in GTP is going to be Bailey Petrowski for Invictus Temerario Corsa. Was I close?
Yes, that's good.
Oh, very cool. Tanner Dibble from DNA Motorsports will start on the outside of the front row. Starting on row number 2, Dave Meneno from SRT Esport with Aaron Beaver, also from Invictus, starting on the outside of row number 2, and he'll be in his, like all the Invictus drivers, in their Ferraris. Then we got Jordan Butler from DNA Motorsports, and Jordan is driving one of the Acura ARX 06s with Charlie Hosea from Rockefeller Racing, starting right beside him. He is going to be in his Ferrari with Ryan Reisman from DNA Motorsports, also driving an Acura. Then over to LMP2, where all of our racers are in their Dallara 117 chassis, and we've got Josh Chinsky from SRT Esport. He is your pole sitter with Caleb Lehman, his teammate, starting second. Then we got Carson Cushman from Purple Sector Motorsports, starting alongside Avon Dorsey, who will start. They will start third and fourth. And then we've got Trevor Anderson, our fifth starter from HSR Phantom Racing.
All right, over in the GT side of things, and a bit of a surprise on pole tonight. It's not a surprise, it's an Orion. It's Travis Schwenke comes in fifth in the championship. He's on pole tonight at Road America. Alongside him is going to be his teammate from Orion, Taj Edwards. On the second row, it's going to be on the inside, Leo Dragota from Orion, and then yet another Orion, this time the championship leader, Mike Dam. So your top two contenders are sitting on that second row together. Row 3 on the inside is going to be a Rockefeller Racing GT3 from John Kroom. On the outside, Dominate Racing's David Steiner. Row 4 is going to be our Sector 5 entry from Brian Bennett on the inside, lined up alongside Rockefeller Racing GT3's Ilya Speaker. Row 5, Robert Hartley, the fifth of the Orion entries, alongside Jennifer McDonald from BTL Motorsport. On row 6, your highest qualifying and championship leader in the GT3 AM category, Dan Carrillo from P1 Racing. They'll be lined up alongside the pro driver Keith Stein from Rockefeller Racing GT3. Row 7, Alex Brown from Eagle Beavers be on the inside alongside Jimbo Pfeiffer from Sector 5 Racing. And there you got our pre-race interviewee, a brief interview, but Filippo Barbieri from Speed Lab Dream to Inspire alongside another of the Eagle Beavers, Radburn Shooters. On the next row back, the Motorsport Direct, Brandon Guillot alongside Jeff Jacobs. We've talked to him, well, we did, at least Greg and I
multiple
did already
times
tonight.
this evening.
They'll be lined up on that row. Behind them, Andre Wedderburn from the Speed Lab Dream to Inspire alongside Stephen May from Mayforce. Behind them, Chuck Labano from Frito Sports. And bit of a shock here, Lucas Dragota from Dragon Sport, third in the championship in AM, a little far down the order. I think he's the 8th highest of the AM drivers tonight. Behind them, Russ Ruddock, Flying Tortoise Motorsport, and Greg Brockway from Frito Sport as the pack goes underneath the Corvette bridge there. Next row back, Russ Ruddock. Oh, I got to that one. Sorry, Ruddock and Brockway. Behind them, it's going to be John Casey from Frito Sports, Elder Noe from Texas, and then of course we've got the race cob. I think might be one of our stewards.
I think those are those are our stewards.
And then Phil Caffrey from Dominates,
Eldar and the race steward, and then that guy down there at the bottom and
that Grabowski guy.
Yeah,
pay no attention. Man behind the curtain from New England.
Driving his NVIDIA 4090 tonight.
Yes. Jonathan, of course, our director extraordinaire, also entering the race, but not really.
Yep. All right, Larry, so there's your starting order, and it looks as though Lucas Dragota did not come out for the pace lap. So we'll see if he ends up starting from the pit lane, but it looks like he may not be in the session at all. So maybe some mechanical issues there, or maybe Leo went over and unplugged his rig. Who knows? We're here on the pace lap, and we're going to see our GTP racers start to grid up just a little bit as they come through the kink and start to make their way down the kettle bottoms towards Canada Corner. And, this racetrack, Larry, it's very narrow. So, I mean, passing obviously is always going to be very, very difficult. But it is, it's going to be a challenge here. Of course, it's a track built for speed. 4 miles long straightaways, but it's also incredibly important that you can dig out of some of these corners. You always want to be able to carry the speed out so that you can basically maximize your speed when you get down to the braking zones. And this track is so hard on brakes with so many heavy braking zones, of course, down at turn 5, going in the Canada corner as well. So difficult as the pace car brings the GTP field around and out of turn 14, heads to the pit lane, turning everything over to our GTP pole sitter, Bailey Petrowski in the 115 Ferrari there on the inside of the front row. Tanner Dibble in the 963 Porsche to his left, and green flag is in the air here at Road America, and it is the finale of season 12 of the World Challenge underway as our racers make it down into turn number 1. Our LMP3 racers just behind, LMP2 racers, they get the green as well, and we've got contact between Dave Meneno and Tanner Dibble, and they are both off in the gravel trap at turn 1 just as our LMP2 racers come through turn 1. And jumping to an early lead, that is Josh Chinsky over Caleb Lehman, with Carson Cushman directly behind our our GT3 racers now taking the green as they make the run down towards turn 1. Travis Schwenke to the inside. Taj Edwards back racing with us this week in the 42 machine. He gives up the position to Leo Dragota. Leo Dragota slots in the second. Mike Dam, the championship leader, drops back down into 4th with John Kroom in 5th. All Acuras top 5 with David Steiner, the first McLaren. He is running in 6th position with Brian Bennett. In AM, it's Dan Carrillo with Jimbo Pfeiffer stuck behind both Keith Stein and Alex Brown, the 2 Canadians.
So much happening there that open lap. Let's watch and try to break this down. There you got the opening of the GTPs. Bailey Petrowski down on the inside. Tanner Dibble, though, on the outside. Meneno's on the inside of row 2. Watch Meneno make this move. Dibble backs out. Sorry, it was Petrowski that backs out, and then Dibble and Meneno maybe didn't see each other, came together. These two came into tonight, 3rd and 5th in the championship, just 6 points apart, with, I believe, another one in between them, Jordan Butler. So it's going to be a little bit crazy as things sort it out. But they finally did. They brought a lot of gravel back on the track just in time for everybody else to come along. And let's take a look at the LMP2s as they went through that section of the track. And already Avon Dorsey goes around right there underneath what used to be the Briggs and Stratton Bridge. It's no longer Briggs and Stratton, and he's going to park it and call the tow.
That's right. And and now he is having to take the tow back to the pits. That was very unfortunate way to start this race. As we complete lap number 1, it's Petrowski, your leader. Aaron Beaver, there is our 3rd place racer, the number 72 Acura. That's Jordan Butler. He's got Charlie Jose of the Rockefeller Racing, number 100, very close behind, but already we're starting to see that bright green. I don't know what you call that color, but it's certainly not Ferrari red, starting to go off in the distance.
Yeah, the little turquoise shadow that's disappearing in the distance, belonging to Bailey Petrowski. Meanwhile, Tanner Dibble is starting to play catch up a little bit here, as would be Dave Meneno. So we'll see how well they can get through, assuming they don't have any damage. There is Dibble now there, just getting through the LMP2s. Of course, they're led right now by, I believe, that is Caleb Lehman, ahead of Cushman and Chinsky, 2-3 in that pack as we flash to the GT3s, and it is just a blur here in this massive GT3 field.
Yeah, indeed, Larry. And by the way, we've just gotten word, and not a huge surprise here, but the 103 machine, that, of course, Dave Meneno has been issued a drive-through penalty for incident responsibility in the contact with Tanner Dibble. All right,
And
so that came
Bobby
quick.
Childs has clarified it is D2D teal. It is, in fact, the color of Bailey Petrowski's car. Oh, and that's a big spin.
Yeah,
right
and that's
in front
Ilya
there,
Speaker in the
Hosea.
McLaren going around at turn 6, as he came underneath the Corvette bridge. And Speaker now falls almost to the very rear of the GT3 field as he's waiting for racers to come underneath that Corvette bridge. It's a good thing he held on before heading back out, but great camera work by John Grabowski. Picked the right view. Let's go back and take a look at this as they come out of turn 5, Larry, up the hill. And that was the Mercedes, I believe, of Brian Bennett directly behind.
Just trying to stay out of the way is the spinning McLaren in front of him. And that corner, as we all know, just gets the cars light, especially early in the race, cold tires. Gets a little extra loose, and unfortunately for Ilya, that's going to be putting him at the back of the field. Meanwhile, Keith Stein, Alex Brown, Jimbo Pfeiffer right there in this little mix. Meanwhile, there they are, and they're trying to keep up in front of them with, I believe you've got, you got Dan Carrito, of course, your AM leader, Jennifer McDonald, Rob Hartley in front of Jennifer. So you got these trains still forming. Actually, a little bit of draft comes into play in this track. Normally, we don't talk about that with GT3s. With this place with 3 really long straightaway sections, and 180 miles an hour or whatever they're hitting here, 170. Yeah, you get some drafting even in a GT3 car.
All right, and Larry, another big penalty coming in. This is to Andre Wedderburn in the 151 McLaren for contact that he had with the 40, I believe it's the 43 of Brandon Guillot.
That's the 43 right there. You can see him missing half the rear wing there from his car. So something big definitely happened.
Yeah, and so Wedderburn with a stop and 30-second hold on the pit lane. Let's take a look here. We should be able to get it as they make the run down towards turn 5. I believe this is what we're looking at. Yep, indeed, coming down into turn 5.
Yeah, you can see Guillot does what he can to check up, and he does a good job of not getting to the back of Jeff Jacobs. But then, of course, behind him, he gets drilled and then catches someone on the.
I think that was. I think that might have been Radburn Shooters in the 44. The Eagle Beaver machine. So big penalty. I think one of the biggest penalties I've seen here in the World Challenge.
Yeah, and watch on this replay, and you can see Shooter has no idea what's going on, can't see him, and all of a sudden alongside him, because at that point, it was just a car out of control, nothing he could do. Unfortunately, it's probably going to end his night early.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate, as we now have a little over 3 laps in the books for our GTP cars, yet to complete lap number 3 for our GT3 racers. As we watch right now, there is Dan Carrillo in the 320 Acura, currently your GT3 AM leader. And he's sitting there right back behind. I mean, he is right up there in this lead pack, Larry, right behind Jennifer McDonald and Rob Hartley, running 8th and 9th in pro. But a good pack here to tuck in and grab a draft from. And he is starting to inch away from the group behind, led by, we've got Stein and Brown in the 2 Corvettes, but more importantly, Jimbo Pfeiffer in the 00 Ferrari, who's currently running 2nd in AM in that group directly behind, as we jump back over to GTP.
Yep, so we're on board here with Ryan Reisman, trying to chase down Tanner Dibble. A couple of DNA entries here. In the middle of this little bit of fight, of course, Dibble's still on that recovery after starting in the front row and having that incident with Veneno. So perhaps Reisman here just trying to follow his buddy around a little bit.
And look at all the gravel they got pulled back onto the track, Larry. There is, as we had that earlier off over at turn 14 onto the final corner. Somebody had gotten it wrong as we jump back over. One of my favorite corners, and so underrated here, Larry, coming into as they're coming in now to the hurry downs at turn 8, that I absolutely loved in my low horsepower front wheel drive cars, going through turn 7 and just popping the apex curb there, because it's actually one of the few flat out, besides the kink, few flat out corners that I can take. But watch here as they go through the other flat out corner, one with a much higher degree of difficulty, and that's the kink.
And Rob Hartley hit that difficulty perfectly, and he's going to run right up alongside Kroom and maybe have the inside advantage, and he does. That's a good pass there, Hartley, all based on his timing and effort there through the kink. He's going to try to keep up with Bennett. Bennett, we know, is one of the quick ones. Sometimes doesn't always get the best qualifying position, but he's always got good race pace. We'll see if Hartley
yeah,
can
exactly.
keep up with Bennett here.
Yeah, I mean, and as long as Bennett can get through the first couple of laps on cold tires, which has been, I think, his Achilles heel over the last 2 seasons or so. I mean, always strong, very consistent race pace. And it looks like Andre Wedderburn brings his car down the pit lane to come serve that penalty as we jump over to the battle here between Jordan Butler and Charlie Hosea. Again, this is the battle right now for 3rd in GTP.
So remember, Jordan Butler came into tonight 4th in the points, right? Sandwiched between actually Dave Meneno and Tanner Dibble. And in fact, I believe he's tied with Tanner Dibble for that 4th spot. 6 points behind Meneno for the 3rd. And we've seen already Dibble and Meneno have their coming together. The penalty issued already to Meneno. So that's going to help these 2 DNA entries of both Dibble and Butler. Butler may be the better beneficiary of it because he's already got the better position starting this race. So good job there. The other one in contention in 2nd spot is Ben Rose, who's in only another 5 points in front of Meneno. And right now, not seeing much out of Ben Rose here tonight.
No, we are not.
As there is Ben Rose in the house tonight. So good opportunities here from Butler, maybe even getting all the way as high as 2nd in the championship if things can go his way. Oh, that's a lot of chaos. That was Carrito and Jennifer McDonald.
Yes, and just as I had mentioned a little bit earlier, how Carrito, who was our GT3 AM leader, was sticking with the pro crowd just ahead. Let's take a look. This is coming down into the hurry downs, down into turn number 8. Another one of these threshold braking zones, and Carrito just much later on the brakes and right into the back of the 99 Corvette, who then collects one of the Rockefeller Corvettes as well. So lots of collateral damage there as part of that incident.
And Jennifer really was the victim there. She had made the right point of brakes and turn in. She got tapped. Let's watch this replay from overhead. You'll see the Carrito gets into the back of the BTL Motorsports entry, McDonald.
Yeah.
And it's not a hard hit, but the problem is it puts her right on track out. And then that's where the Rockefeller Corvette comes through. And it's
and again, Larry, it's an incredibly narrow track. I think 55 feet wide from side to side in most places around the 4-mile circuit. And when a car is sitting, completely on the track surface, perpendicular to the track surface, there's very little room to avoid.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate for Jennifer. She was having a pretty good run here to start this race. Meanwhile, we check in with Alex Brown. It's just on the tail of that Dane Carrito, who was involved in the incident. We're going to see if Carrito ends up getting any kind of steward action from that.
Well, and Larry, I think another side effect there is we're watching Alex Brown right behind Dan Carrito. Is you'll notice that there's Jimbo Pfeiffer in that group now also, and Pfeiffer, who had another one of the pro drivers between he and Carrito, now only has one. And and again, if Carrito takes a penalty, which we're kind of assuming he will, that will move Jimbo Pfeiffer up into the lead. And Pfeiffer right now, I think we've said that Carrito pretty much has the championship locked up, and I'm looking to see where Jimbo is in the championship currently.
He's pretty far down. He's 9th.
Yeah, he's currently in 9th, and he's got Radburn Shooters, who's now in the pits, was 2 points behind coming into the evening, and then Greg Brockway just a single point down on him coming into the evening. So this at least gives Jimbo a little bit of clearance. Up right ahead of him in the championship, 12 points up, is Chad Sebring. And Sebring is not here this evening, is it?
So one of the other things to think about also with Carrito and potentially seeing a penalty here is, yes, it is the first beneficiary would be Jimbo Pfeiffer, but from a championship standpoint, well, we already talked to Filippo Barbieri, comes in tonight. He's 12 points back, which is one of those that if Carrito has a disaster night, could turn that way. Carrito just needs reasonable points. So still not over yet. Barbieri needs some help in different areas, but he's at least doing what he said he was going to do pre-race, which is a little bit conservative. Stay in this fight, and let's see where it pays out.
Yeah, indeed. And so Barbieri, who is currently running 3rd in AM, is running, I believe, 12th or 13th overall in GT3. But if but if Corrido ends up with a drive-through penalty, that
Right.
could drop him down.
Yeah, makes Corrido far down the order.
Yeah, like 24th or 25th.
Keith Stein has had his issues missing the front end
and
of
I
his
think
Corvette.
Stein was, and I think Stein might have been the one who ended up collecting Jennifer McDonald during that earlier incident. Yeah.
So he's just trying to get back to pit in. As we keep an eye here on Caffrey and his just a little wide there, a little bit of gravel. Now, you do that in real life these days, you're still on pavement as there's so much runoff now here at Road America in turn 1. But in the sim, that's a lot of gravel out there still. And look at this. We got movement here for the lead. Taj Edwards trying to make the inside move on Travis Schwenke. He's going to make his stick. Now remember, he started in the front row. It was Leo Dragotta that made the move, actually, in turn 1 to get past Taj. Taj has now leapfrogged both of his teammates, and he's back to the front.
All right, and it has just come down, Larry, that Corrido is going to be assigned a drive-through penalty for incident responsibility in that hit on Jennifer McDonald.
That is a long penalty here at Road America because this is one of the world's
super
longest
long
pit lanes.
Yeah,
that's going to hurt him. So we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, like I said, this Orion battle up front, the one to watch really is Mike Dam. He's your championship leader. He's in the fight with Leo Dragotta. They're running 3rd and 4th, but the front 3 are pulling away a little bit. Let's watch the replay of how Taj got around Schwenke. Looks a lot like
coming down in the Canada corner, just throttle down and threshold braking. A little bit of a wiggle from the rear of the car as he transfers all the weight to the front, and to the front he goes.
Good stuff. Yeah, a lot like Hartley, just a better run through the kink. They set up the momentum and make the pass down the inside. Nothing Schwenke could do there. Look at Brian Bennett now trying to get a bit of a pass under brakes on his way in. That's David Steiner. He's going past here. That should put him up into 5th.
And Steiner gave him a nice little shove up the hill. Thank you very much. Thank you for the position, and thank you for the extra momentum.
As Ryan Reisman's GTP now is trying to get by, perhaps before they get down the hill through the hurry downs. Yep, there goes Reisman. Those GTPs are so big, and through these tight 90s like turn 8, turn 5, they really aren't fast through those corners. But then you get them around to the kink and down at the Catamaran. Oh my goodness, they are so fast down these straights.
And we're going to get to see it right here.
That's
Charlie Hosea to the outside, Dibble to the inside.
Jordan Butler there right with them. Dibble's got some good pace tonight. It's almost a case of what would have been if it wasn't for that turn 1 incident, lap 1.
Yeah.
He finds himself about 12 seconds back from Billy Petrowski in the lead. He's got as good a pace as anybody right now.
Oh, look.
Is that contact back there?
That's just what I was looking to see. Ooh. And doesn't. If there was, it was very slight, but didn't seem to affect Jordan Butler all that much. And looks like the GT3 car may have escaped it.
There's Barbieri watching a couple of LMP2s go on by. That's the battle of Cushman and Lehman for the lead. Cushman, Carson, at number 10, just a couple car lengths back from the front. He's had a pretty good run here for Cushman. Joined in middle of this season and had a good string of wins, trying to get back on top now. What is it? He won 3 races in a row and then was on the podium last time out?
Yep. Let's see here. Let me pull up my mountains of paperwork, Larry. I know you love when I print everything out. So at the Nürburgring 2 weeks ago, Lehman finished second to Chinsky, with Cushman finishing in third. Avon Dorsey, Trevor Anderson finishing 4th and 5th, a lap down.
Take a look what's on here now. This battle of the top 2, really top 3 in LMP2 just went around Jimbo Pfeiffer. in that turn 8 there, and Pfeiffer trying to just get out of the way. In fact, that's not top 3. That third car in the shot there, I believe that's Dave Minetto on his recovery drive, hiding amongst the LMP2.
Yeah, I was going to say,
just a few
one car doesn't
horsepower.
look like the other ones, Larry.
Just a few extra 100 horsepower. What's the difference, really?
Yeah, and a little extra width. Yeah. Wider.
I just saw the black with the green. He's obviously got the same paint scheme there as Caleb Lehman has. That SRT black, silver, and green.
You know, and I'll tell you, Larry, that LMP2 finish at the Nürburgring a couple weeks ago, I think 2.5 seconds separating the top 3 cars as Chinsky took the win, and Lehman was 0.6 back. You know, so close at the end of 75 minutes there.
Yeah, that's the way those guys are. It's always exciting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, speaking of exciting,
you know, and I was going to say, you know, we talked about Chinsky and Lehman right now. That battle for the third step on the podium or in the championship in LMP3. We've got Anderson and Dorsey currently tied for third with 349 points. So you know, a little bit at play. And speaking of things at play, Larry, you know, this being the final evening of season number 12, we've got 2 big giveaways here tonight after the race finishes with some prizes presented by our wonderful sponsors of the World Challenge. Butt Kicker, once again this season, is going to be presenting a Butt Kicker Gamer Plus package valued at $280, $279.95 to be exact. To one of our drivers, there's going to be a prize drawing, and each driver will get a number of entries based on how many points they've scored during the season. Also, our title sponsor, Ricmotech, is going to be offering up a prize of 100 Ricmo bucks that are going to be made useful towards purchasing items directly from Ricmotech. And same story, going to have a drawing at the end of the evening, and depending on how you'll have a number of entries based on the number of points you make in the championship this year. Or this season. Did I say this year?
This season, yeah.
It's been a long night for season.
It's only been about 16 actual weeks to get through 8 competition weeks.
That's right.
Let's check in with Jordan Butler and Charlie Hosea. Battle for 4th. We're so fast around here. Out there running laps in the low 151s, into the 150s even if your name is Bailey Petrowski, Tanner Dibble, or Aaron Beaver. Times are crazy fast. Different lines here with Butler and Hosea.
Well, and Butler had to get out of the throttle there, coming out of turn 8, heading towards the carousel. Larry, I think he expected maybe a little bit more exit speed from Hosea. That said, Hosea had a real good run through the carousel and through the kink.
Did it did different lines there for Hosea. It was more of a little bit of a wider entry, and to touch that apex just as it plummets down the hill. And then he set up really nicely for a run through the kink there. So, but now as they come up to Bill Mitchell Bend, Butler's got a pretty good run out of the Canada corner up to Bill Mitchell, and you can see he's closed up now as they go up the hill down the Road America Straight.
Windshield wiper on to get rid of the gravel, I guess.
Yeah, top speed for these guys right in the mid 180s to almost 190, or again, if your name is Bailey Petrowski, 191 mile an hour.
Oh, and Hosea just clipped 204, Larry.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't he the lead car in that pair? Was he getting a pretty good push draft?
Yeah, I think that exactly. I didn't expect it. As Butler comes underneath him in 5.
Yeah, that you can see coming. He's a little bit later on the brakes.
Yeah.
Now we'll see if Butler can do anything, start to pull away a little bit, or if Hosea is going to stick with him through the more twisty section here around the infield through 7, down the Hurry Downs to 8.
Well, and this will be interesting. Again, we like I said, Butler I think carries more speed through this corner.
Yeah.
But but Hosea had such a good run through the carousel earlier with that late turn in and taking a little bit wider set on entry. I'm interested to see if he closes some of that down as they come to the kink.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all about your run through the kink, how much curb you willing to take on both entry and exit. Good job there for Hosea, trying to stick with the back of Butler. Butler pretty good on this time through, though.
Yeah. And I think Petrowski here is, we watch him come up the Road America Straight, was our first racer into the 150s. And although as the fuel levels are starting to go down, Beaver and Dibble have met him there. Petrowski's still lapping at about 0.4 of a second, now 0.3 of a second faster than Beaver and Dibble behind. As we're currently working lap number 14. And Larry, of course, is always here at the World Challenge. We do see our drivers needing to come in to take service and get fuel, sometimes tires. I wouldn't expect that they need tires here tonight, but we should see the GTP cars come in somewhere around laps 19 to 24. So, I mean, we're about 10 laps away from the end of that pit window now for them. In GT3, we think that their pit window is going to open up around lap 17 and extend to lap 20. So they're maybe just a little bit more than halfway through what could be their stint if they go the full distance. And as always, those LMP2 cars, it's a tough thing for them to get through a 75-minute race here at Road America, Larry, with only a single pit stop. Their pit window is about 1 lap long, and we should see them pitting. Yeah, we should see them pitting in around either lap 19 or lap 20, and they're currently working their 13th lap.
Well, this front three here, Edwards, Schwenke, Dragotta. Edwards now, once he was able to get back to the front there, has opened up a little bit extra car lengths, but all three of them now have put about 2 seconds on Mike Dam behind them. So I'm starting to wonder, what is Dam's strategy here? Or is he just maybe using a different setup, a little bit of struggle for him? Yeah. Or is he trying to save some tires, save some fuel for this at the end? It'll be interesting. Typically, the traveling in a pack allows you to save some fuel a little bit better, so that would lean to maybe thinking Leo Dragotta's got the advantage, but we'll keep an eye on Mike Dam. If he can close this up, maybe have some traffic work to his advantage.
And so, Larry, we're showing now Dan Carrillo on the pit lane. So it looks like he is serving that. Well, no, he's not just serving a penalty because, of course, he was given a drive-through.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know that. Maybe he was. You're right.
Yeah.
There's other penalties.
And he's back underway.
Yeah.
And let's jump over, Larry, because, of course, we had, as we watch our leader in the GT3 AM Championship head back out on track after a pit stop, let's go over to our interview guest, Barberi, who's running second in the championship. And he has an issue getting into Speedville, Larry. Not carrying a lot of speed into Speedville here as he went around to turn 8.
No, Speedville's known more for its sausages than its donuts, and he's apparently decided to make a little donuts there in the grass.
That's right.
Unfortunately, that's going to bring him down the order just a little bit now. He's down to 4th, as you can see. Jimbo Pfeiffer now leading the way in the GT3 AM category.
All right, as we watch the procession now of Orion Acura's Taj Edwards, who unfortunately was not with us for a number of rounds, and you have to wonder what would have been, Larry, if Taj had been here for an entire season, as he was so strong early on. Travis Schwenke running second, and then Leo Dragotta currently second in the championship, and only a handful of points behind Mike Dam, came into our last round as the championship leader. And based on the finish where Dam took the win and Leo Dragotta only finished 4th, he finds himself 6 points back coming into this round.
Yeah, so really at this point, you kind of need, if you were Leo Dragota, you need almost the inverse of what happened last time out. You'd like to get the win and keep Dan back in that 4th place spot. That might be enough. That was an 8-point differential 2 weeks ago. If that 8 points repeats itself, that could be enough for Dragota. But he's got a lot of work to do. He's going to have to maybe save some fuel. He's got to stick here with Schwenke and Edwards. He's got to hope Dan doesn't get any faster. And then he's got to leapfrog his teammates, by the way, somewhere around the pit stops and hold them off. So it's a lot of what if, a lot of things, but it's possible. So the old phrase, so you're telling me there's a chance. Leo Dragota, he's got a chance.
All right, as they're starting to work through some of the slower traffic, and is that, I think that's the Wedderburn car, the 151 machine.
Yep. Could be an opportunity for Leo now as he's got a double draft here. Is he just going to push? He is. Just a little bump draft like the old Miata days here for Dragota and his Orion teammate.
And you know, Larry, good segue.
Oh yeah, tell me about Miatas, would you?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you about Miatas, but I'm going to tell you about some other cars instead. As the Touring Car Championship, the Touring Car Championship is going to return in just a few weeks. Actually, not just a few weeks. Next week, next Monday night is the return of the Ricmotech Touring Car Championship, the TCC, for season number 25, and it will be made up of the Hyundai Elantra N TCR cars as well as the GR86 Cup cars. And registration is still open if you want to be on the grid here and make yourself famous on Apex Racing TV. Head to xmsracing.com/series/TCC.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
One more week until that. Not many weeks. Just many days.
Just 8 days.
Just a week.
8 days a week.
1 week, 7 days from right now. Mark your calendars, folks. All right, so your Speaker making his way back up through the traffic a little bit. Got around Jeff Jacobs. And Speaker had that spin earlier. Right back there at that turn 6, in fact, at the top of the hill by the Corvette Bridge. So he seems to be on a pretty good pace now, trying to make this recovery. He's been moving. He's been turning laps in the 204s even when he's had some clear space. So he's got the pace.
And look at this, Larry.
Yeah.
Battle for second in GTP starting to heat up as Tanner Dibble in the 963 Porsche is starting to make his way through the field.
Rob Hartley trying to just stay out of their way.
Yeah.
Almost got in their way, but now Dibble's got to run. Bieber's using some draft behind Brian Bennett, and he's going to hold that line into turn 1. But for a moment there, I thought perhaps Dibble was going to make a lunge, but he's got another.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
Let's see here if they can make it through here.
There's Mike Dam, which means Leo Dragota, Travis Schwenke, and Taj Edwards aren't far ahead. As again, Dibble not using the draft. He tries to outbrake him. He does. Can he hold it? Good job on the brakes there for Dibble in the Porsche.
Well, that and it was pretty clear, Larry, that Aaron Beaver was not going to go deep into the braking zone at 5 and try to outbrake the Porsche there. He just seemingly just got off the throttle early, got on the brakes early, and but now it's going to get very congested.
Yeah, this will work out just well. This is fine. There's no problem here as Dibble goes to the right, to the left, around the outside. He's going to go perhaps to the inside of Taj Edwards when he gets down to the cake. He's going to force Aaron Beaver to try and follow him.
Yeah, but he's going to have to now. He's going to have to follow Schwenke down through. Or was that?
Taj.
Oh, it was Taj Edwards. Sorry.
But everybody gets through
Save
just
that clip.
fine.
Save that for the podcast. We're never on. All right.
All right. Well, we'll see if Aaron Beaver can keep pace with Dibble for a while. But Dibble after that turn 1 lap 1 incident, has got himself back up into the second spot. Just 12 seconds back from Bailey Petrowski. So Bailey isn't quite running away with this thing yet.
Hey, and Larry, you know, maybe along that storyline that we thought maybe Mike Dam was having some challenges, he's on the pit lane right now taking service. Or at least we assume he's going to be taking service. Again, it's a long, very long pit lane. Yeah. And there he is. You know, and again, we didn't think that the pit window would open up for the GT3 cars for at least another lap. But, you know, I mean, perhaps with some fuel savings, he could certainly, as he's just completed 16 laps, pardon me, might be able to make this to the checkered.
I don't know. This is interesting. We have not seen this earlier of a fuel stop really work for anybody. Historically, you want to be one of the last two coming in for fuel. You put yourself in better track position. Now, the good thing about Road America is track position is not terrible if you come into some traffic because it is relatively easy to get by around here. So keep an eye on Mike Dam. When he pit, he was just about 2 seconds or 3 seconds behind his teammates, Edward, Schwenke, and Dragota. See how this plays out now. As he's going to drop back into somewhere around 11th place in the Pro, or about 17th overall in GT3. Well, Caleb Lehman and Carson Cushman, nothing has changed. That's actually Josh Chinsky now with Carson Cushman. Something has changed. Lehman's out to a 2-second advantage over Cushman and Chinsky.
And Larry, I'm hearing some chatter over the radio with race control concerning Leo Dragota and possibly receiving a black flag that may not have been served. And I'm wondering if it's because of possibly the number of off tracks that he may have encountered. But again, you know, I'll see if I can get any more information on that, and I'm sure you'll probably want to check the radio.
It seems odd for a couple of things. One is this track really isn't all that bad for off tracks.
Right.
Typically, if you're getting an off track on here, you're kicking up some gravel and creating other issues. But it's also relatively early.
Yeah, because Larry, the reason, I mean, he's still out there circulating. So if he had received the black flag and had ignored the black flag, you know, obviously that would have been an issue with the iRacing system. Maybe the administrators wouldn't clear that black flag for him.
The only thing I can think of is perhaps if they have an artificially low black flag maximum count. My private leagues have done that by accident. They had to make it like 5. But I would honestly be surprised if Leo had more than 5 incidents at this point anyway. Like I said, it's a relatively easy place to get around without picking up off tracks. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Caleb Lehman pitting from the lead in LMP2. And this is lap 19, so it looks like his competitors are going to probably make it on lap 20. You had said it's 19 or 20 for these guys.
Yeah, very short window.
Yeah, this is end of 18, start of 19 here for Caleb Lehman.
And that, of course, moves Carson Cushman to the lead, who's ahead of Josh Chinsky out on track.
And
Trevor Anderson third.
May have worked out well for Lehman, because look at this traffic now. The Cushman's got to deal with. He's got Russ Ruddick going through turns 5 and 6 and 7. He's going to have to slowly get through this. That's Ruddick. That's Stephen May. And all of this time is just time spent behind a car. So perhaps this could be an advantage to Lehman by pitting when he did.
Okay, so got another word from Race Control area that apparently iRacing had noted a course cut, and that was the reason for the black flag. Stewards have reviewed the previous 4 laps and did not see a course cut, and so that black flag condition has been cleared for Leo Dragota. With that, Larry, we are right just past the top of the hour right now, actually about 5 minutes past the top of the hour. So why don't we take our break, thank some partners and sponsors. When we come back, we'll fill you in post pit stops for the LMP2 racers here from the National Park of Speed Road America. You're watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. Stay with us.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to the National Park Speed Road America. It is the season finale, season number 12 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, of course, like clockwork, when we went to break, the other three LMP2 racers of note, there, of course, was Avon Dorsey, who had his early incident, but had the three drivers head to the pit lane: Cushman, Chinsky, and Anderson. And Caleb Lehman, who was first to pit, we're watching him right now, right behind Josh Chinsky, and he's going to poke to the inside. He went from the lead to third.
You know, it made a complete liar out of me. I thought his strategy was going to work well. Turns out something else happened that I don't know what it was. Perhaps the other two short fueled.
Yeah, and from the looks of it, I think it was just down to transit time, Larry. You know, he had a slightly longer period of time in the pit stall, which you would assume since he pitted in a lap earlier. But the transit time was almost 3 seconds longer than Josh Chinsky. Matter of fact, Chinsky had the shortest of all, I think, at a 1:18.4, and Lehman was at a 1:21.4, as Bailey Petrowski, our GTP leader, now brings his Ferrari down the pit lane for service.
So knowing this pit end here, you can see a good shot there coming up the hill. It's hard to see those yellow cones where the time actually, where your pit speed limit must be effective. So if you're conservative and it's going uphill anyway, you brake a little bit early, you shut speed off really quickly, and that could drastically extend your time down pit lane. Because that once you're on the limiter through the pits, it is what it is. But slowing down conservatively perhaps is what Lehman did, and that cost him
you're
a little
going
bit.
uphill.
And the others maybe ran right to it, all the way up.
Yeah, but 3 seconds is a long time. Ryan Reisman now heads to the pits. So our who were our top 3 racers all in the pits. Tanner Dibble, Jordan Butler, now your lead pair on track. And I believe, other than Dave Meneno, the only ones, it's Dibble, Butler, and Meneno, the only 3 yet to pit in GTP.
Dibble continues to round at a very good pace, still turning in the 150s. So putting the pressure on Petrowski, now of course doing his pit, but putting the pressure on Petrowski to continue at that pace when even after the pit stop. So we'll keep our eyes on that, but Dibble definitely has his race going. Meanwhile, the leaders in GT3 Pro are in their way in. There's Taj Edwards and teammate Leo Dragota.
And add Brian Bennett to the mix as he comes up the pit lane as well, just a little bit further behind, about 50 yards back from them. And that should put AM leader Filippo Barberi, Larry, up into the lead.
And we'll keep our eye on that. Of course, the pit stops and things happening, but that would be good news for Mr. Barberi, as we know that he's in championship contention if he can get a little bit of help tonight. But let's see what things look like when all the pit stops all shake out.
Well, it won't put Filippo Barberi to the lead, Larry, because he is pitting in from the lead in AM.
Meanwhile, Taj Edwards and Leo go out the same way they came in that order. Question is, where is Travis Schwenke? He's closing
Schwenke
quickly.
Now going down into turn 1 as we're on board with his Acura, I believe.
All right, well, we talked about Mike Dam, championship leader, sitting in 4th. He's about 9 seconds back from these guys.
Yeah.
And how Leo Dragota probably needed some teammate help to win this championship. He's done himself some pretty good here. He's able to go from 3rd to 2nd. Now he's got to get from 2nd past what appears to be a very fast Taj Edwards tonight.
Yes.
So Leo now has 7/10 of work to do in the next 29.5 minutes. So keep your eye on that red-trimmed Orion car. What kind of pace does Leo have in it the last half hour of this season?
Yeah, and you know, as we said, Larry, the difference, the points difference between Dam and Dragota coming into the evening was 6 points.
Yeah.
And as it stands now, thank you, John, for throwing that up. So 6 points separating them. You get 64 points for the win, 60 for 2nd, 58 for 3rd, and 56
is a 1st to 3rd, but a 2nd to 4th may
would
not
be
enough.
8.
Yeah, that's why it almost needs to be a 1st and 3rd. Basically, Leo needs to win this thing.
Yes, and Dam needs to stay in 4th.
Stays in 4th. That would be an 8-point difference, I believe, which would be enough for Leo. But still 30 minutes to go, and it's teammates all around. At the end of the day, it's going to be Orion deciding how Orion wins this championship. And I can tell you that guy right there, Taj Edwards, who's sitting 4th in the championship, does not want to make this any easier than he has to.
No.
Look at how close they are, though. That's a good lap there for Leo and for Schwenke. Good out lap. Well, Avon Dorsey and his LMP2. A little bit down the order, but he's making his way on by. He's about 8 laps back from the front pack of LMP2s. Little pack here now. This is what Leo wants, because if he needs to do any fuel save to make it to the end, he can, and he can pop out at any one of these potential passing points. So into the front straight, into the back straight, going into turn 8, into Canada corner. There's a lot of places around here you can make passes, and Leo now is just biding his time, hoping that Travis doesn't try to make a move on it. But if you're Travis, why wouldn't you? You know what this means for Leo. You may as well try to make a pass and get Leo off his game. We'll see if Travis tries anything.
We're still a very long way to go. Larry, here, as we've got, just a touch over 25 minutes still remaining. So no need to shoot your shot this early as we jump a little bit further back in the field. This is Alex Brown in the gold Eagle Beavers Corvette. We've got Ilya Speaker, who had his early challenges in the Rockefeller Racing McLaren. And then slotting right in between them, Larry, we've got Jordan Butler.
He's making his way through efficiently as he just went to the inside right there of Alex Brown to try and get to the inside going down the carousel. Again, Butler came into tonight 4th in the championship. Would love to find a shot at 2nd if he can. It's not totally out of reach. He's about 11 points back from Jordan in 4th, as well as Tanner Dibble in 5th. They're both tied for 4th. And look at
Larry,
this.
Look at that. There it is.
Yep, Leo Dragotta did what he had to do. Well, now he's got to, for 25 minutes now, he has to hold the pack, or 20 minutes, got to hold the pack behind him. Not going to be easy.
And from the looks of it, Taj Edwards didn't put up much of a fight there. You wouldn't think that he would. Obviously, having all 3 cars make it to the finish probably tantamount here.
And this is one of the tracks you don't often find a lot of defensive moves at this stage of the race. Somebody's going to get a line on you. They just go. Yeah. You know you've got opportunity to get it back. That's what makes this place such a wonderful racetrack is you can race, give the spot. I'm going to race you again. I'm going to get a run somewhere else, and I'll make my move. I'll get my counter move done later. And until you get to the last lap, and then it's just all elbows out. But for now, Taj knows there's a lot of racing yet to come. Question now is Travis Schwenke, does he need to make a move here? Does he want to get by Taj Edwards? Remember, he was your pole sitter here.
Yeah.
He's got to be thinking, wait a second, I outqualified these guys. Why are they in front of me? Well, Mike Dam sits about 8 seconds back right now. He would love to see these 3 teammates start fighting and slowing themselves down. And he's in a battle. You got Brian Bennett and Rob Hartley, another Orion driver. There they are, 4th, 5th, and 6th in the running.
Yeah, and Bennett took a quick little look to the inside there, going to the Canada corner. The Dam had to shift over just a little bit, but again, it little surprised here tonight, Larry, that the 93 car just doesn't seem to have the race pace. And it looks like he might not. Maybe there's some internet connectivity issues, Starlink issues up in the Great Northwest or something, or he's in the East.
There could be issues everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe a lumberjack took an axe to his 5-year-old.
Well, I mean, a moose once bit my sister, so anything could happen.
I mean, Larry, it is the Stanley Cup playoffs now. Also, you never know what Mike Dam is doing behind the wheel.
It's true. He could have the Leafs game on while he's watching.
It might not be a rear view camera. Side. It may just be maybe watching TSN or something tonight. Who knows? Sportsnet.
Perhaps he's a fan of the Canadiens. He's watching the same game you're watching. So
That's
it could be.
Every time the Capitals score a goal, he goes wide.
Good
it's
for him.
happened twice
He's
so far.
Wide tonight. All right, so a good little battle. If you're Mike Dam, though, you'd like to be a little quicker. You're 9 seconds back from the lead. And this is not going to get you there as Dragotta continues to extend now a whole second over Taj Edwards and Travis Schwenke, and that's exactly what Leo needed to do. With these 3, Brian Bennett's that wild card, partly because he's not an Orion teammate. He's got no ties to these guys, but we always know his pace comes to him as the race goes on. Let's see if he can make a move on Mike Dam. Meanwhile, is that Butler going by?
Yeah, that's Jordan Butler in the Acura.
Wide there for Mike Dam coming out of Canada of all corners. Did the Caps just score? Is that why he ran wide?
No.
Theory blown. We're not trying to get our audience to shift over to watching.
No, not at all.
A
It's
hockey
on
playoff.
ESPN, by the way.
We don't need to give them any props either. You always watch those later. This is real. This is live. We got to keep it in here. Meanwhile, Brian Bennett.
Of course, Larry, that does remind me that we should mention that Extreme Motorsports is starting up a new IndyCar Championship Series.
Yeah.
It starts May 1st. And now I'm going to sound like Johnny Carson on another network.
All right. Well, we'll get it back. That's okay, though. We'll still be here Monday nights for you every single week. We'll have another season of World Challenge coming up soon, and as we mentioned, the TCC. But meanwhile, Brian Bennett trying to make a move on the outside going into 5. I'm like, damn, this is a tough pass to make. Can he make it stick? He's going to make Mike Dam work to hold it. Meanwhile.
And Josh Chinsky thinking, can I bump draft of an Acura down in the
He's
5?
trying. We are 2x2 now going through turn 6. Haven't seen this since the opening lap because as it looked like Hartley was just going to sit there as Chinsky hang on the left. Chinsky knows this is a battle in front of him. He doesn't really want to interrupt it, but at the same time, he's got his own race to get on with.
Yeah, but right now, well, Chinsky's battle right now is about 4 seconds up the road, and it's getting even larger as we
Look at this,
we go
though.
here.
The downforce now. Look at the downforce of an LNP2. That's it right there, folks.
And notice, given the line that Bennett had to take going into the carousel, did you see how many times he had to apply the brakes to reset the nose on the car? Larry, it was like 3 different times.
It's really beautiful. And that's actually kind of how you drive this car around there. You just sort of double foot it to get that nose to tuck just correctly down there.
Yeah.
But look at this. It looks like the Acura a little better turning in and carrying speed into Canada, but nowhere to go with it as Bennett now gets that front engine / mid-engine Mercedes to get the power down. It's in the front, but it's pretty far back in the front.
It's like an S2000. It's behind the axle.
Yes, it's one of those. But yeah, so Bennett, though, good little exit here onto the Road America straight. We'll see if Mike Dam has anything to counter move now. Perhaps get a little bit of push from behind.
With the slightest of moves from Bennett to break the draft, either that or he sneezed, one of the two.
Maybe, yeah. But the two behind, a little bit of bump drafting between the teammates, Rob Hartley and Mike Dam, and close that gap up pretty easily. We'll see if there's another fight going into turn 5 here at the end of the next straightaway. Meanwhile, is that a Charlie Josea's Ferrari coming up behind them? He'll want his way through, flash the lights. Charlie doing about 181 miles an hour past these guys. There's that wide line for Brian Bennett setting up that left turn 5. And that's what we had talked about. Perhaps that was the black flag that was given to Leo Jagoda. May have been something like that, but not really sure. Eventually that got cleared, but you do see that certainly in real life. That is the line drivers take.
And I think I remember seeing, Larry, in one of the more recent updates to the iRacing system that they were going to be adjusting the off tracks, and for that, and now I wouldn't expect that it would show it as cutting the course, but quite possibly there again as we had the drivers go all the way to the right outside of the curbing going into turn 5 and trying to open up that 90-degree corner.
Yeah, if you're into watching that other real life racing open wheel series that happens on Sundays, they talk about getting their strikes against them. They talk about lap time deleted, and that's kind of the same thing here.
Yeah.
Except we don't delete lap times, but the strikes against them certainly comes into play as they add those up. The problem is iRacing goes one step further and basically is like the penalty that went to Max Verstappen this week. They give him like a 5-second penalty, but it's alive. You have to serve it on the spot. And it's never fun when suddenly you get assigned one of those.
Edwards making things somewhat difficult on his teammate Travis Schwenke, Larry, as they came down into turn 1, and you see there is Edwards trying to go down to turn 3 and finds the Rockefeller machine there right at the apex, and that allows Travis Schwenke to scoot by to head up into second place. But all the while, Leo Dragoda now, Larry, has opened up almost 2.5 seconds on his two teammates.
wonder if Lucas is spotting live for Leo right now and telling him, by the way, you took the lead and your rival in points, Mike Dam, lost a spot, so now it's a 1st to 5th place. This leans heavily in the favor of Leo Dragota if this holds on. Schwenke's the only one that can really do something about it from the front end of that. He's going to have to make up some ground here and catch young Leo Dragota, who's opened up 2.5-second lead. Meanwhile, Mike Dam needs to get back around Brian Bennett, who's not making that easier on the other end. So 2 different battles may come into deciding the championship here tonight. And Stubby,
John,
thanks for sticking with us.
Hey, John, if you have a couple seconds, I'd love to jump back and take a look at Brockway and Casey right now. Battle for 6th and AM. The battle of the 2 Corvettes.
The teammates.
Here, yes.
Yeah. Little Frito Sport action going on here. With the 3rd Corvette in line is Jennifer McDonald. If you remember, she had that incident in turn 8 early in the race, the victim of another one's crime. She's on a recovery drive here, probably down a couple laps, but she would love to go play Corvette racing here with the 2 Frito Sport entries.
Yeah, I think Jennifer right now she's actually 4 laps down from the Frito Sport duo. And Casey's in the blue car, Brockway's in the purple. Casey took a quick little look early, maybe a little bit too early. He got back in line.
It's got to be fun when you find your teammate out there and have a little race between you here in the season finale. Just for grids, we'll check our point standings to see where do these 2, Brockway and Casey, stand. Brockway came into tonight 11th in the AM.
And John
Casey's
Casey, 5th. And I think there's a lot to be said there, Larry, for consistency between those both Brockway, but I think more John Casey, consistent finishes each race week, and
it's like 7th, 8th, or 9th every single week. He did have a 6th at Monza.
Yeah,
that is very consistent.
All right, taking a quick look to the inside of Brian Bennett. That was Mike Dam. And I think Robert Hartley there sitting right behind, consigned to playing wingman for Mike Dam right now if he can.
Yeah, he might try to make a bit of a push if he can get up there and help his teammate. Meanwhile, there's behind them, I believe it's an Avon Dorsey?
I think it's Dorsey, yeah.
It might be. It looks like a Rockefeller LMP2. Couple laps down. Look how much quicker that entry to the apex is for the Acura. How much speed they can carry in over the Mercedes. Mercedes then gets out of there pretty well.
Yeah, just rotates incredibly well, does the Acura.
Yeah, I've run that car a couple of times in my own leagues, that Acura, and on these kind of tracks, it's fantastic. Slow hairpin type of stuff, it doesn't do them so well. But a track like this, which essentially is a whole bunch of fast 90s, it is amazing how well that Acura can pitch and get through an apex. And it's really a great ride for this type of track. Not able to pull away, and I think part of that is the strength of the Acura in some spots helps it. Certainly the more twisty parts of this track, and perhaps a little bit of help there from Rob Hartley, the lime yellow green trimmed Orion car just behind Mike Dam.
All right, as we jump back over, Larry, to the battle in LMP2, of course, Carson Cushman took the lead during the pit stop cycles here. Caleb Lehman had worked his way back around Josh Chinsky. He now runs second in the Green DNA Motorsports machine, and starting to close things up a little bit here on Cushman. That last time by was about 0.3 of a second faster than our leader.
Yeah, so we look at those kind of numbers. There's a fun battle to watch. From a championship impact, though, Caleb Lehman came in tonight in second place in the championship, but pretty far down from Josh Chinsky, who's going to collect some reasonable points tonight here. Lehman's probably locked in there at second, but Trevor Anderson came in tonight in the third spot, actually tied for third with Avon Dorsey. And, Dorsey's had his issues now. He's already been out for a couple laps, got his repairs. He's not really a contender in this. So Anderson, good chance to break that tie and get a third place on the season championship.
All right, Larry, this is a bit of a surprise seeing Robert Hartley pit in for the second time as we're coming up on the 10-minute mark, 10 minutes remaining here in tonight's race. And maybe he just short-fueled the car, didn't put enough fuel in to get to the end, which would be a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I do wonder if that's what he had done, as he's already back out. So we'll keep an eye on it. What that does, though, is it takes away the battery mate there of Mike Dam. So Dam's going to have to fly it alone now if he's going to make a move on Bennett. Meanwhile, speaking of Orion cars, Schwenke and Edwards continuing to battle here for second.
And all the while, Dragotta, there he is going into turn 8, still maintains about a 2-second advantage, give or take a little.
Not out of reach for Schwenke and Edwards if they can get along and perhaps even get a little bit of a bump draft or push draft to help down these straightaways. So it's not over yet, but we are now inside of the final 10 minutes. If Schwenke and Edwards are going to do something, they're going to have to do it now. Meanwhile, there is Avon Dorsey, I believe, is that LMP2 car trying to poke through. It says a 7 on it. Well, there's Jimbo Pfeiffer out there in his Ferrari, leading his way in the AM category. Currently 12th on track, though, so not a ton of points available for the AM drivers tonight. The key we've been watching the battle has been between Filippo Barbieri and Dan Carrito. Barbieri in second, Carrito in 8th. So Barbieri's certainly going to get some help there, but he's not going to get a huge points haul because the pro class, frankly, has been pretty strong tonight.
So far here with Barbieri, he's kind of, he's got about 4 seconds to Pfeiffer ahead, and Labano, who had a pretty good run at the Nürburgring a couple weeks ago, hasn't. There he is in the Frito Sport Corvette. Has been a bit of a non-issue. And Larry, I think there's something more going on with Robert Hartley now than just fuel, as Hartley comes down the pit lane again.
Yeah, what if he's having a sim issue, and by coming into the pits, he was able to try and reset something, and now perhaps it's gotten worse. So unfortunately, Rob, this might just end his night. Strange days there for Hartley. He had a good run. I mean, he had a good race going there. Certainly was up in the top 7, but not to be tonight. Look at Hosea. His battle with Manetto. Manetto started third, was in an incident that was deemed to be his fault, so he served a penalty for that. It's kind of been on a recovery since then. A pretty decent pace here tonight for Manetto. In fact, last lap by was a 150.24. His quickest lap of the race just a moment ago to put himself here underneath the rear wing of the Ferrari of Hosea.
Yeah, Larry, and I mean, currently lapping faster than than all of the LMP2 drivers, including Petrowski. Of course, Petrowski at this point with, I think, about 5.5 seconds on Dibble. I don't want to say he can take it easy, but...
Well, I don't know how easy he could take it. It's actually slightly coming down just between those two. So while Manetto's having his good little run here to try and get back into a 4th place, which he's just about to do, maybe not, Dibble is staying within 5.5 seconds of Petrowski up in front. So this is certainly not over as Dibble continues to pressure Petrowski. There goes Manetto, able to make that move now on Hosea coming back at it.
Yeah, nope. Hosea taking a quick look to the inside where he can't.
Yeah, not there though.
Quite get close enough.
All right, so that puts Manetto up in the 4th spot, behind about 11 seconds back Jordan Butler. But it's the Dibble-Petrowski battle we're keeping an eye on. It looks like maybe there's a little bit of traffic playing in there as Dibble just slipped a couple extra seconds back from Petrowski. There's Bailey. We hadn't seen much of him in the D2D teal since the first part of the race.
Where's it? Invictus teal.
You can see there are a couple of those laps. Dibble's cutting in, but then some loss there back on lap 35 for Dibble. This lap might also be in Petrowski's favor. The two Frito Sports Corvettes battling on the front straight. Bailey responded 150.8 the last time by. Dibble 52.8, so definitely had some traffic to deal with there.
And look at this, Larry.
Dean Dibdall's entered the chat.
Indeed.
Don't worry, Dean. We'll let you know when someone needs their tires worn out.
That's exactly.
Jordy Fike also doing his best to promote our series and promote Apex Racing TV. Thanks, Jordy. You're our man on the ground between you and Stubby, reminding everyone to hit that like button.
And I'm still trying to figure out who Beta Spy Dog is, which might be the name of the night.
Really an Orion fan, though.
Apparently so.
There's a couple more Orion drivers that aren't in tonight's race. That could be anyone of them.
Larry, it's getting awfully dark in old Wisconsin here as all the drivers have their lights on. It was listed as an afternoon race, but...
Yeah, here's something interesting. This is why we're watching, and I'm wondering, oh, that's interesting. It looks like Hartley's back out behind Dan, but no, that's Hartley out right behind Leo Dragona, your race leader. Hartley, of course, a lap down or two. But that isn't Schwenke, is it? No, it's not.
I thought that was Schwenke.
Schwenke about 2 seconds back.
Yeah, still about 2 seconds back, which is what the gap has been.
If you're Rob Hartley, apparently...
Larry, but let's check in, because Taj Edwards, who, of course, had been battling with Travis Schwenke, wasn't in that shot.
Is he on the bridge? He's the car we're focused on.
Is he stopping at the Cheese Castle?
I mean, maybe there's an egger at the Snack Shack in turn 3.
That's right.
Stopping
here at Parker John's or whatever it is. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, we can find them. This is the battle of Bennett and Mike Dam going here.
Yeah, we're trying to track
Edwards, I'll tell you
because I'm not showing Edwards moving on track.
Yeah, here's what it means: is Mike Dam is back in 4th place, half a second behind Brian Bennett. If Dam can get by Bennett, that would put Dragona in the lead and Dam in 3rd. I don't know what the points would do. And I know you're not a math
I don't think it'll be enough. It's Taj Edwards. He's playing the system, Larry. The fix is in.
Like Dam just paid him off.
That's right.
To say, you get out of here, I need those points. No, we're not sure what happened, unfortunately, for Taj. But it does mean that we've got some critical lap or two to run here as we just passed the hour 13 mark. 2 minutes on the clock. Obviously, Billy Petrowski gets to decide at this point when the yellow or when the white
And
flag.
Petrowski's, I think, out of Canada, so going to be one more lap, I think, here.
That would make yes, this should be white flag this time by for Bailey Petrowski.
Yeah, I think Mike Dam might have tossed Taj Edwards some loonies or something, and
well, we'll see. This is going to be an interesting one right up to the end. But for Petrowski, should be seeing a white flag waving just past our camera.
And there it is, white flag in the air. 4 miles, 14 turns for Bailey Petrowski coming up. Is that is the battle in LMP2? Cushman with about 2 seconds on Lehman, and in GT3, Dragota still holding steady at about 2 seconds on Travis Schwenke with his new wingman.
Yeah, well, Hartley could play the mean guy here and become a draft bridge, but now with just over 1 lap to go, that may not matter. This is the one I want to watch because this could also decide the championship. Bennett needs to hold off Dam. If you're Leo Dragota, you're actually rooting for a Sector 5 driver right now. Yes. If you're Mike Dam, you need to get past Brian Bennett if you have any shot of still winning this championship, and then hope bonus points work in your favor. Let's watch this last lap between these two. This is where it's all going to come down. None of the other battles are close. Cushman's 2 seconds up on Lehman, and then a couple seconds more to Chinsky in LMP2. We know Petrowski's got a pretty big lead on Tanner Dibble. This right here is the battle that could decide a championship in GT3 Pro. I'm sure if you're Mike, you'd love to finish this race on a high and get over and watch that Canadians game that's happening. He's got to finish this race, though. He's got about 2/3 of a lap to make a move on the Sector 5 AMG. Brian Bennett. Look how
look at this.
Sharp.
He's going to take a look to the inside coming through 5, Larry.
Yep, this is the advantage of the Acuras. This part of the track, all these tight 90s. Bennett, great car position.
All right, here comes Bailey Petrowski from Invictus Temerario Corsa coming out of the final corner onto the Road America straight and taking the checkered flag and the GTP championship in season number 12. It's Bailey Petrowski.
All right, well, this is Mike Dam's last shot. He needs to get a great run through the kink. We saw Rob Hartley do it earlier in the race. We saw Taj Edwards do it earlier in the race. We need to see Mike Dam, another Orion driver, get a great run through the kink if he's going to have a shot to catch Bennett. He's got a little momentum, but I'm not sure it's enough. Bennett looked pretty solid through there this time. Mercedes has got some legs. No opportunity for Mike Dam. If he doesn't make a lunge move into 14, he's going to end up this race in 4th, and I don't know if that's going to be enough to hold on to this championship.
Dean Dibdahl dive bomb coming in 3, 2. Not this time, as Brian Bennett's going to lead Mike Dam out of turn 14, goes to break the draft, and I think he's got that done. So Dragota, your winner tonight in GT in GT3. Schwenke finishing 2nd. Bennett will take the last step on the podium. 3/10 back from Bennett is Mike Dam. He will finish 4th, and this is where we're going to have to sit and wait, because there are many different ways to gain bonus points over the course of the season. Yeah. And in addition to that, we've got the drops to figure in, so we'll figure it out. But we're on board right now with Jimbo Pfeiffer, who, with a 3-second advantage over Filippo Barberi, will take the, well, I don't want to say it yet. He's not on the final corner yet.
He's got to make one more uphill straightaway, so hopefully there's enough fuel on board in that Ferrari to do this.
All right. I'm pretty certain now that Jimbo Pfeiffer is your winner in GT3. Filippo Barberi now should be coming out of the final corner. There's Barberi coming over the straight, and the stewards are asking all of our racers that had already taken the checker to please move over driver's right.
And I'm laughing at the gaggle of LMP2s that didn't have enough fuel to finish their cooldown lap, waiting there just past start finish for the photo op here at the end of season. But anyway, good run, Jimbo Pfeiffer to take the win there. Filippo Barberi had some issues tonight. Imagine that spin. If he didn't have that spin, where would he be? I don't know. We'll let the math do its thing in the points calculator here a little bit. We got contested championships in GT3 Pro, GT3 Am, and only the calculator knows the answer.
That's right. And of course, Larry, we should mention Carson Cushman took the win tonight in LMP2. There he is, trying not to roll back down the hill. Caleb Lehman finishing second. Josh Chinsky finishing third. So we're going to take a quick break. Going to thank some of our partners and sponsors. Going to start breaking out the abacus. And no, I'm not going to play the abacus sound effect tonight, Larry. But we'll be back in a few moments to talk to some of our race winners, maybe some of our champions. We'll figure it out as we go along. You've just seen the season finale of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. Stay with us.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Expert support. Ricmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the National Park of Speed, Road America, where we've just seen the season finale of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. And as I've just dropped everything all over the place, let's take a look at the finishing order once again.
That was
taking
the sound
the
of
win.
Greg doing math.
Yes, that's as much smoke is in the air from them doing burnouts, Larry, is coming out of my ears right now. Bailey Petrowski takes the win in GTP for Invictus Temerario Corsa, with Tanner Dibble and Jordan Butler finishing second and third, both from DNA Motorsports in LMP2. It's Carson Cushman from Purple Sector Motorsports taking the win over SRT Esports, Caleb Lehman and Josh Chinsky. And if we go over to GT3 Pro, it's an Orion top two with Leo Dragota taking the win, Travis Schwenke second, and Sector 5 Racing's Brian Bennett coming home in third. And then if we slide over and take a look at GT3 Am, it is Jimbo Pfeiffer from Sector 5 taking the win over Filippo Barberi. Chuck Labano from Frito Sport. Kind of lonely race for Chuck tonight. He will finish third with Russ Ruddick just off the podium in fourth. All right, let's take a look, Larry. I think we have
Off on that one for
sitting
a second.
sitting in the chat right now, or in the green room.
Yeah.
Just want to take
Waiting on the math.
Yeah.
We could probably interview him.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's the only one sitting around right now.
Because the rest are all trying to do donuts. So.
Yeah, exactly. And and we're fairly certain, we think he's going to be our season 12 LMP2 champion. Let's bring in Josh Chinsky from SRT Esport. And if we're wrong,
all right,
we're wrong.
Well, even better, you've got with us Carson Cushman.
No, Should we bring everybody?
No, let's
bring
start
everybody
with Carson. Carson, what a fun race that looked like tonight. The battles that you had.
Oh yeah, I did bring the wrong person in,
on
didn't
top in LMP2. It's a good win for you, but that looked like a heck of a fun race.
Yeah, for sure. First stint traffic was tough, but then I got a good undercut on Caleb, and then traffic was nice to me for the second half. So that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic tonight. Seemed to be pretty well spaced out, but just a fun battle that you had going on there for a while there with all three of you, between yourself and Caleb and Josh. And what do you think the difference was tonight? Just pace or good pit strategy for you?
Honestly, I think the undercut is what did it. I definitely was not the fastest car at all. And then, like I said earlier, just getting good luck on the traffic on the second stint. So it didn't get held up too much. So I think that's what it did, because I definitely didn't earn it on pace, that's for sure. But I was consistent, I guess.
Sometimes that pays off at a place like this as well, to be consistent, to get to traffic efficiently. Always a couple important things. But for you, great run here in the second half of the season, unlike we've seen from anybody, a whole bunch of wins here. So looking forward to, hopefully you signed up to come back in 2 weeks, start the next season with us.
Of course, I'm excited to be able to have the points matter for me towards the championship. Joining late, I was a little too far behind to catch up, but looking forward to next season for sure. We
are too. So awesome job here tonight. Anybody you want to give a special thanks or shout out to?
No, just you guys and everybody at the Ricmotech. It's been I know I only joined halfway through the season, but it's been great so far. So thank you.
Awesome job getting yet another class win here tonight. Carson Cushman from Purple Sector Motorsports, and we'll see you in 2 weeks when we get started all over again.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks so much to Carson, who finishes 6th in the championship. And Larry, what could have been if he was here for the whole season? All right, so my itchy trigger finger accepted.
Perfect.
Now let's try to bring in Josh Chinsky from SRT Esport, who I can confirm is our Season 12 LMP2 champion.
All right, Josh Chinsky, congratulations. You are the LMP2 champion for this season. But what an interesting race tonight. Seems a little bit of traffic, a little bit of things going on out there. Was this a night to just clinch it and just to make sure you made the finish?
Yeah, that's kind of what it turned into. I obviously from pole position, I wanted to go for the win from the get-go, and just cold tires. The wind was a little stronger than what it was during the practice session, and so it really caught me out there. Made a mistake. Caleb took over. It honestly was a messy race for me. I mean, great race from Caleb, great race from Carson, to great win from him. But yeah, I didn't keep it clean at all, and so once I got caught behind that big train of like Brian, Robert, and Mike, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try and bring this home and make sure the car makes it across the finish line in one piece.
Yeah, well, the strategy worked to perfection. You managed to clinch the championship here this season, so congrats to that. And what does that mean to you? You know, obviously, when you set out in a season, you want to win a championship, but to actually come through and win that, what's the satisfaction feeling like?
Oh, it's a great feeling to win the championship. I'm going to be honest, I felt the first one meant a lot more to me for winning last season of season 11. This season 12, it was messy, it was nitty gritty. If Carson was racing from the start and I kept driving the way I was, it probably would have swung the other way. So I just know I need to have a whole lot more preparation for next season. I'm registered, Carson's registered, so I know I'm going to have a fight on my hands. Caleb's going to be in it too. So I got to start putting even more time in, because clearly this season wasn't enough.
Yeah, and hopefully you're going to bring some more of your SRT Esport teammates as well, too, because it's great seeing you guys out there. But for now, you get to, at least for the next 2 weeks, do a little bit of basking in the glow, maybe a little bit of preparation for that first race in 2 weeks. I'm sure a little bit of both. But congrats on the championship here. Anybody you want to give a special thanks to for helping you win this thing?
Yeah, shout out to SRT. Appreciate all the support that you guys give me. It's always great racing with you guys. You push me to be as fast as I possibly can, especially Caleb. Shout out to him for an awesome P2 for this season. Shout out to Penn Station East Coast Subs, and I appreciate everything that you guys do for the sponsorship. Yeah, it's been a heck of a season. Lifestyle integrations came in there at the end, so I'm looking forward to bring that sponsorship on into the next season and see if we can make it a little bit cleaner for season 13 coming up in a few weeks.
Well, that'll be exciting, and we're always appreciative to anybody that brings sponsors in, even if it's at the team level. We think it's great support for what we do here, but for you, winning championships, obviously that's what the sponsors don't want. They want the airtime, and you're giving it to them by winning these things 2 seasons in a row. So the next one won't be easy. You know that. We're looking forward to watching it. So Josh Hinsky, SRT Esport, winning the championship here in LMP2.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you next season.
All right. Thank you, Josh. All right, Larry, let's move over now we're going to move over to GTP. And our season 12 champion, of course, he was last the season 10 GTP champion after taking a season running in the GT3 cars. Let's talk to tonight's overall winner as well from, was it the Invictus Tomorrow? You say it, Larry.
Invictus Tamario Corsa.
There we go. Bailey Petrowski.
All right, Bailey Petrowski. We've had these words in the past, and I'm hoping that they're just as sweet as they always are. You are this season's World Challenge champion here in the GTP. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a bit of a strange season, very up and down. Almost, I feel like makes it a little bit more rewarding, especially after the start of the season where I just was really struggling in the car, couldn't really get pace out of it, and then halfway through really started getting back in the rhythm, started figuring out the car. So it's a very rewarding feeling knowing that the work I've been putting into this season has finally started to show after the last few months.
Oh, I was gonna say when you finally let Bobby do the setups for you, because that was the difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully Bobby's listening. I'm sure he's super proud to have you, one of his teammates, to claiming the championship. And you've been at this while. It seems like every car you get into, you're a front runner in it. No difference here tonight, but there was some pace out there, some things happening. That opening corner almost ended the race for 3 of you. I noticed you had backed out. You saw what was happening. Was that one of those you kind of saw the move from Maneno on your right and said, "You guys go ahead and do this. I'll wait back"?
Pretty much. I saw how fast he was coming up on me and just knew he wasn't making a corner. So and with the car being side by side with me, there's not really anywhere I could go anyway. So pretty much all I could do was slow down and just hope for the best and pray. So I'm glad it worked out. It's really unfortunate for Tanner because with his pace, it would have been a very close race, I think. And he did do a great job at coming back. I was being quite easy on traffic, not trying to take any big risks. And then I kept seeing Delta get closer and closer, so I started pushing a little harder and harder. But I don't think he took tires, which I think was the main factor, at least towards the end, why I was able to pull away from him. But he had some great pace tonight. He still, even though with that start, he still made me fight for it.
Yeah, for sure. We were keeping an eye on him all night long as he was showing a lot of pace as he worked his way back up through that field. And never easy to try and come back, especially when you're out in front setting that benchmark that he has to go after. But that was super exciting. What I want to know, as I've asked everybody so far, is are you signed up for next season?
I am. We'll see how things go with that. I'm also, I don't know if you guys are going to be taking control of it or broadcasting it, but our series, we're starting a IndyCar series, which I was going to take part in and try out. So I might be over there. If you guys are over there, I'll see you guys over there. But I'm also going to be in touring car series this next season as well. So you'll see me over there in the
next Monday night.
And yeah. Oh, is it that soon? Oh God.
Yeah. Start driving your Hyundai, man. Next Monday.
That'll be great to watch because we know you've done a prototypes. We've seen you, and I think it was the GT3s last time out. This will be neat seeing you in the touring cars as well. And that other series, maybe Greg and I will watch on those nights as we will be broadcasting it. I'll leave it at that. But for tonight, for this series, your dominant position continues. You continue to reign every time you get into one of these cars to kind of set a standard that others have to chase, and it's exciting to watch. It's certainly great to watch that kind of excellence and perfection. So congrats on another championship. All of them hopefully mean something to you, but I know they mean something to your friends and family and sponsors, if you want to mention a few of those.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be here without any of my family and friends supporting me. This series wouldn't exist without all the excellent sponsors. helping to support this series, like Ricmotech. They always give great rewards, as well as Butt Kicker. They always give the great reward at the end of the season. Thank you guys at Apex Racing for always broadcasting and being here to show the race and commentate on the race. I would definitely want to thank the team sponsors as well, D2D, for continuing to have me as one of their drivers and giving me the opportunity to drive for them. It's been a great experience these last couple years, both with you guys racing in this series and racing with them, so I really appreciate essentially being here. It's been a great experience over the last few years, so yeah, I think that's everyone.
Yeah, well, it's been a joy to watch it this season, and I can't wait to start next week in touring cars with you. So congrats, Invictus Temerario Courses, Bailey Petrowski winning the championship and tonight's race here in GTP. Congrats, Bailey.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right, there you go, everybody. Bailey Petrowski. Now, Larry, let's move over to GT3, and we're going to start with our winner tonight in GT3 Pro and two-time now defending champion in GT3 Pro from Orion Racing. It's Leo Dragota.
All right, Leo, you knew when you walked into this thing tonight, if you were going to win a championship, you needed some help because Mike Dan was up there with about a 6-point margin on you. Start of the race, it looked like Mike was just going to sort of fade back a little bit, but you had work to do, and then you had to work past Taj, who had great pace tonight. You had to work with Travis, who was on pole tonight and had great pace. Halfway through that race, coming into the pits, what were your thoughts? Were you thinking this championship was still a possibility?
Yeah, Mike fell back a little more than I expected. I think I had better pace than my teammates ahead, so I was like, I got Travis out of the pit lane, and then I think Tosh had some saving to do, and I got him on the straight. And I was just I had fuel to burn, off tracks to burn, and I was just putting in fast lap after fast lap.
And as the lap started winding down, not only were you making passes to get to the front, Mike was having some battles of his own back there with Bennett, and then Taj has a connection issue or something, disappears. Were you running the math in your head, or you just knew that you control what you control, get the win, let the math figure itself out?
Yeah, that did not help. This whole weekend it's been a struggle. My wheel gave out right before I started practicing. Got it fixed. Saturday just gave out before we started tonight. I had to fix it mid-race. I got a 40-second penalty for cutting the track, even though I didn't. Out of nowhere. And then, yeah, Taj just connected and Mike got a position. So it's just everything did not want me to win tonight. But
yeah, but somehow in the end, you had a great run tonight. You had great speed when you needed it, all the way down that stretch, and just pulled away to get that win. And although Mike ends up fourth in this thing tonight, not enough, because the championship is going to go your way back to back now at GT3 is here in the World Challenge. So congrats to that. And this one probably even a little harder than the last, but all of them I'm sure meaningful for you. What's this one? Where does this one get put on the mantle in terms of things you've accomplished recently?
this one was tough. I mean, all of us at Orion, we all brought something to the table. Brian brought a lot of competition. It was just a fight all the way through. I mean, kind of wish Akira was here to fight with us, but it's hard with his time zones. But yeah, it was tough this season. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, though.
Yep, awesome run for you, getting the championship, clinching it right here in the last round in somewhat dramatic fashion for you. But I know that you don't do this alone. You've got a lot of team there helping you out. You want to give a quick mention to them?
Yeah, everybody at Orion, Hafi, everybody at the league, you guys for the broadcast, family, Lucas, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, congrats again. Leo Dragota getting the win here in the final round and clinching the championship in the World Challenge GT3 Pro for Orion Race Team. Congrats, Leo.
Thank you.
All right, Larry, there you go. Leo Dragota, second year in a row winning GT3 Pro. All right, so let's move over to GT3 AM. And, Larry, I hope you've been working on new questions to ask our champion, because taking the win and taking the championship by 3 points over Dan Corrido from Speed Lab Dream to Inspire is Filippo Barberi.
All right, Filippo, we talked briefly before the start of this race, and you weren't sure if you had a shot at this. You just wanted to get to the end of the race. I remember, right, you had a bit of a spin somewhere in the middle of that race, and you ended up second. Did you think at all that this was going to go your way? Did you have your abacus out and your calculator sorting through the numbers?
Yes. No, I mean, honestly, yes. It was pretty much like that. Once the race started, I mean, first of all, I mean, obviously, it would have been nice to have a little bit more battle to Danik. Congratulations to him. He did a phenomenal job through the championship. But when it all started, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm okay. Lucas, I don't even, something happened to him. But at the end, let's just be safe. And then something happened to Dan, and I'm like, all right, an opportunity might happen. And I started pushing. Had a little, moment there with the spin, and I was like, okay, now I really have to focus and get at least all those positions back, because I needed to put four cars, I think, between Dan and I. And at one point was like 2 cars, and I'm like, okay, chase, 3, 4, and then I think I finished with like 5 cars in between us. But yeah, and I was also had a personal goal. I wanted to finish in the top 10 overall, like between the amateurs and the pros, and finish 8th. So that was pretty cool. So yeah.
Heck of a run tonight, and nerve-wracking and all. And I'm sure as your wife and kids, are they kind of like in the background, kind of screaming?
Oh no, they were.
Cheering?
My wife is amazing. She actually had a calculator and was, we had like different strategies on fuel and places, and
it's just full
pace
crew
and all
chief.
this.
That's great.
No, she's like the ultimate crew chief. I mean, that was amazing. She's other than for her, it would have been really tough. So my whole family is extremely supportive. I probably spend a lot of time getting ready for these races. I mean, it's a little bit part of our business, because we do a lot of no enhancement protocols for actually sim racing. So it's part of the development strategy, but still, it's the extra time on the sim. They're very patient with it, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that is awesome. It's nothing like having a good solid team there with you, especially when your main crew chief can get it done and do all the extra work for you too. It makes the driving a little bit easier.
No, yeah,
makes it a little sweeter.
And I can't forget to thank all my teammates. I mean, every teammate I have played an essential role in helping me. This past weekend, 2 of my teammates, we did one of the endurance races actually at Road America to help me prep. So it's a huge team effort too. So thanks to everyone, friends, family, sponsors, supporters, everything. Thank you.
Awesome job for Filippo Barberi, your champion in GT.
Thank you. I can't believe it.
Unbelievable stuff here for Speed Lab, Dream to Inspire, walking away a winner here at the end of the season.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you all the crew, by the way. Apex, XMS. I mean, you guys, if it wasn't for this, as I said before in one of the interviews, you make that little kid's dream of racing cars a reality for us old guys. So thank you.
I love it. All right. Well, congrats again, Filippo. That was an awesome job.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Filippo Barberi from, oh my God, you could just hear how excited he was, from Speed Lab, Dream to cool. Inspire. I didn't want to break it to him that he's got to race the pros next season. Anyway. All right, Larry. So that wraps up our interviews with our racers, but of course we want to bring in
Jeff Jacobs. Yeah.
We want to bring in Jeff Jacobs. Exactly. He's the vice president of Extreme Motorsports, and I know he is going to want to likely talk about the prizes that we're giving away to some of our racers, and maybe a little bit about what's coming up with Extreme Motorsports.
Well, yeah, that'd be great. Thanks a lot, Greg. Absolutely. Hey, great race Jeff, tonight. Welcome. That looked like a lot of fun out there, and the fun is not over, because we got a couple prizes to hand out this evening. And the first, most important one here is our Butt Kicker award. It's a Butt Kicker Gamer Plus, and we draw this award by taking everybody's championship points after this final race, and each one of those points gives them an entry into our drawing. We throw it into the random number generator to generate that prize. And this season, our Butt Kicker Gamer Plus prize winner is from the DNA Motorsports team, Jordan Butler. So awesome. That's pretty cool. I think he was just outside the podium in that super competitive GTP class, but a nice consolation prize. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to pull him up here.
Yeah, let's bring Jordan on in. Jordan Butler, who finished third tonight in GTP in his DNA Motorsports Acura. And
Jordan,
winner of a big prize.
The Bet Kicker prize.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to keep up with Bobby Childs now, who I think was one of the previous winners of one of these prizes. You know, and you guys in your GTPs now all be running butt kickers, going to add the realism.
Oh, that's crazy. Like, I've actually been looking to buy one for a long time, and you know, kind of hoping here or there that I might get lucky here. And look at that. Yeah, thank you guys.
Hey, awesome. Well, that's great. Yeah, everybody who has won one so far, man, they get it. They the nice thing is they're so flexible on how you can use them, and you can deploy them whether you have a rig or just a regular chair. And folks are like, oh, it's even cooler than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, Jordan, we'll look forward to hearing from you on how you enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I got like a custom 2x4 bolted together rig here, so I can just go out back and get my chop saw and just add another bracket over here and mount up.
Nice.
All right, very cool.
Awesome.
There you go, Jordan Butler, winner of the Butt Kicker Gamer Plus package. Thanks so much for joining us, Jordan, and I'm sure we'll see you here in just a few weeks for season number 13.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys.
All right, and then I believe we also have one more giveaway, Jeff, and that's from our title sponsor, Ricmotech, for 100 Ricmo bucks.
Exactly right. Yeah, this is essentially a $100 gift certificate that the winner can use at the ricmotech.com webpage, and some folks use it for swag, but they could also put it towards any upgrades they want on their sim racing equipment. So now, interestingly enough, and maybe the other teams are going to object to this, but exact same process. Throw it into the machine, say draw the winner. DNA Motorsports, Tanner Dibble is going to be the winner of the $100 Ricmo box. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so Tanner Dibble, driver of the number 963 DNA Motorsports GTP Porsche, finished second tonight, just ahead of Jordan. And unfortunately,
second, and then I think third in the overall standings, just 1 point out of second. So, yeah.
And
yeah, just a quick recap on those points. If we talked about Bailey winning the championship, just because now we've got Jordan Butler and Tanner Dibble both winning prizes. Dave Meneno was second in the points. 1 point back was Tanner Dibble, and then only 3 more points back in the fourth spot was Jordan Butler. So super tight battles there in GTP.
Well, guys, hey, great coverage as always. And like you've sort of suggested here, we aren't taking very long off, because a week from today, we come right back with the touring car championship. That is going to be the GR86 and the TCR Hyundai Elantra. We're going to have everybody in the same TCR car, and we're kicking that series off. I think we've got about 30 drivers registered so far. We got room for a few more, so it should be fun.
And of course, if you do want to sign up, registration's still open. xmsracing.com/series/TCC. And then, of course, in 2 weeks, Jeff, we're starting up season 13 of the World Challenge.
Absolutely. Registration is also open for that. I think we have about 50 drivers registered in that so far. So that means we got room for about 10 more. And lining up. You know, you're going to be surprised, and we'll reveal it here, but these teams are not staying in the same cars. They're jumping around a bit. So going to have a little different look to the grid next season, especially in GT3.
That'll be interesting to see. And that's just 2 weeks away after we get through the opening round of the TCC next week. So a lot of exciting stuff here coming up. Should be fun.
Indeed. And so, of course, Jeff, we've been saying that it's being broadcast on another network, to quote Johnny Carson. Brand new series coming from XMS as well, right?
That's right. IndyCar Championship Series is going to run on Thursday nights around the same time, about 8 p.m. Eastern time, running every Thursday. So they'll run 8 weeks in a row, and then probably launch another season while our other 2 road racing series are going on Monday night. So kind of a neat addition to the series. And Josh Chinsky is running that one as the admin, and has put together a fun series there.
Very good, very good. And if you want to find out, if you want to register and race in the Extreme Motorsports IndyCar Championship Series, you can go to xmsracing.com/series/ICS. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're going to get ready to wrap up the show. We're going to run down the final championship standings and then call it an evening.
Thanks so much for all your great work this season, everybody.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, everybody. Jeff Jacobs, Vice President from Extreme Motorsports, and also great driver in the field with the widest Mustang now in motorsports. So, Larry, let's take a look, and we'll just quickly run down the top three in the 4 different classes here. Again, GT3 AM Filippo Barberi taking the championship in Season 12 with Dan Corrido from P1 Racing and his Acura finishing second, 3 points back. Lucas Dragotta from Dragon Sport Racing finishing third in the championship. If we move over to GT3 Pro, of course, it was Leo Dragotta from Orion taking the championship win, 4 points separating him from his teammate Mike Dam. And then Ilya Speaker, who was, I believe, last season's GT3 AM champion. Let me just verify that. Indeed, it was. He moves up to the pro ranks. He finishes third in the championship in his Rockefeller Racing McLaren. If we move over to LMP2, your championship winner, Josh Chinsky from SRT Esports, with his teammate Caleb Lehman finishing second, and Trevor Anderson from HSR Phantom Racing third. There, as we then take a look at GTP, and again, Bailey Petrowski, your championship winner for Invictus Temerario Corsa. See, I still need you to say that for me. SRT Esports Dave Meneno finished second in the championship, and DNA's Tanner Dibble finishes third. So, Larry, any final thoughts as we wrap up Season 12?
That had some great battles right up to the end between what was going on at GT3 Pro and AM. The battles in the LMP2 every week seem to be amazing. I can't wait to see Carson Cushman for full season. Yes. But TCC next week, Bailey in a touring car front drive. Can he drive front drive? We're about to find out. There's so much cool stuff coming up on Monday nights. Don't miss any of it.
That's it. All right. So for Larry McLeod, for Jonathan Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next Monday night, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Championship. Have a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.